Hey Grant,
Hey, hey, how you going?
good. I'm just getting ready for an event, so I was opening a few things in the background. I just saw the email, so I thought I'd click on it. I haven't been on it in like forever, so
Yeah, nice. I'm glad you did. I've just finished an event. I'm in a hotel in Sydney, and so it's a bit of a different one, this one.
right.
But I like it. That's blue. Nice.
Ours
What's
is a
up?
bit of a different one too. It's in a different language, so it's
Oh
it's
yeah.
always interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Hey,
Terry.
blue.
Hey Bloom.
Hey,
Hey,
we
Grant.
could do, we could do the squares. Hey, Dan. Hey, blue.
What's
Hey,
over there?
Terry.
How you
Hey,
doing?
Terry. Hey, hi. Nice. I only just opened it a minute or two before, so people are still coming in. Um, but there is an opportunity. We'll have a few people that join us generally after we've started for a little while. A few extra people come in, so it's cool. Get some
Hey,
Grant, can I
squares
Terry.
ask a
going
quick
on.
question? When people join periodically, so I used to join like every week, and but now I am joining periodically. I realize I know nothing about what's happened. Is there a good way to
Previously.
just check in? Is that the Facebook page or something like that? How should I not join and go, I wonder what's happened in the last 2 months?
Well, it's probably pretty easy. In the last 2 months, not much has happened. In fact, the reality is the last 6 months have actually been pretty light in terms of feature releases, and we've been focusing on bug fixes and infrastructure improvements. So, truthfully, I mean, there's some little things here and there, but for the most part, that's been the last 3 to 6 months.
Super. That's very helpful.
We're Yeah, we're in the midst of working on 3 features that we're hoping all get released by the end of the year, but I'm gonna try and not jinx it. Terry, did you get Heather's response with regards to the password page? You're muted, not Zoom, your mic.
Oh, my mic. Yeah, she helped out really fast. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And everything's going great with that event. I was kind of worried with 7,000 people in a different language, but it's working.
Awesome. Good deal.
Oh, there actually one question about that maybe you've seen. Out of like the 6 or 7,000 people, there's only been maybe three that have had problems, three or four, when they click to join, like to enter a room, they get like a error, Zoom error 5 or something like that. From looking at it, it's either an internet thing or a firewall thing. Have you seen like when they click enter a room? I think they got an error code, and it was just like error code 5 or something like that. Zoom. Does that
Zoom's
ring
network
any?
code is something like 100003 or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not I'm not 100% familiar with what error code 5 is.
Yeah,
Um,
I tried Googling it and there was a couple different random forms, but I didn't. For the small number of people that were having it, I'm assuming that it was something to do with where they're located, that they were in like Russia or
yeah, it could be.
Ukraine or
It
somewhere.
it's not likely where they're located because our Zoom licenses or our Zoom account is doesn't have any geographic blockouts.
Okay.
Um, Now that's not to say that their internet provider doesn't have a blockout on Zoom traffic, like at the packet level or something like that. But um, I haven't seen a lot of that, and we've had clients who have had fairly significant numbers in Russia and the Ukraine.
Okay.
Um, so Yeah, that the only thing that I would say for something like that, like when you're getting a weird Zoom error, make sure they have the latest version of Zoom.
That's what
You're
we
gonna hate
told
this
them.
one,
We
but
told them
yeah,
refresh, download the updated latest update, and I haven't heard anything from that. And
cool.
like our tech support is going through like a planner because we don't speak Russian or type Russian. So
Yeah,
we're like third party as to info that we get out of it, right?
right. Yeah, no, exactly. And telephone game is a fun one.
Yeah, but we did get an error on our last event with the dashboard, which was a 404 error, and it ended up being a school board that had some firewall on it, and they couldn't even access the dashboard. And it was they
Yeah,
were all from the same school board. It was a educational event for high schools, and when they went to go in the login page, it was a 404 URL error, and they were all from the same school board, and I'm assuming it was a firewall of some sort.
I mean that it's a weird error for a firewall.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
guess
I don't know
it
if firewall is the right word, but there must have been something blocking it if it was all the same.
Yeah. I know early on, we were a little more susceptible to corporate firewalls because of the fact that it was a new domain. But
Hmm.
the Obvio domain has been around for a long time, and some firewalls like don't allow you to visit websites that have a domain that was registered within the last 3 months, as an example.
Right.
And so I mean, that was before, I think that was even
Yeah.
before version 4. That was when we were still building dashboards with developers through version 3, which you guys have never seen. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen anything like that recently. But it does
Okay.
sound
Yeah.
like, yeah, if it's all coming from the same location, it does sound like some sort of
Something on
overzealous
their end. Yeah,
IT
yeah.
person who's not not happy with life.
Yeah. Or they have really bad students in their school that they have.
Yeah, and and they allow them to go to Wikipedia and that's it, or
Yeah.
something like that.
But it
Uh,
wasn't a big thing. We had a Vimeo backup that we were just sending out to anyone that had problems. So
yeah.
Yeah, it raises a good point though, and that's particularly when you do have corporate environments, enterprise environments, or education and things is doing some tests before, a few days before, a week before, or something like that. It's really helpful because then you do pick up on those things, and you can get IT departments to whitelist, domain names and things like that to allow it through. And if they're going to allow Zoom and things like that, but yeah, it's
yeah,
always it's always finding out last minute, right? When it doesn't work. Yeah. Vimeo's good, but then you can have the same problem with Vimeo in different countries. So, you know, Vimeo doesn't
Well, and
work
then
in
you,
China,
and,
for
and
for
you
example,
have
and things like that.
some, yeah, or you have some IT departments that block any video-based websites, right? You can't go to
Right,
YouTube, you can't go to Vimeo, you can't go to Twitch, whatever.
right.
So it really is, um, when you have like I said, an overzealous IT department that really locks things down, it can be challenging
I
because
just
sometimes you can't find what the reason is also.
I just done an event for for a huge, actually the largest company in Australia, a mining company, and I was pleasantly surprised at their IT department on lots of fronts, because you just think a huge company like that would be like, no, you can't do anything, it's all locked down. But um, they were, no, we've got lots of things in place. We've even got like automatic CDNs, like eCDNs that they have set up in their own corporate environment, so that it's kind of caching things locally, and which was amazing. So it meant that for Ovio, it wasn't being slammed all the time. It was kind of this secondary cache that they had locally, which is really cool. Yeah. I think Muddy just had a question. He said, often during events, it is useful to have a timer on screen, for example, during a break or a few minutes of for a few minutes of working time. I have used third-party tools, but I have a client looking for a simple tool inside of Obvio Zoom meetings. Would it be possible to enable Zoom's built-in timer app? No. In a word, we're still needing to do some more tests. The Zoom apps thing, I feel like they really talked up Zoom apps, and yet how it's actually played out in everyday Zoom usage is nowhere near as much as I thought it might be. I think you know, Muddy, the issue for us is being logged into Zoom clients. So for hosts, would need to be logged into clients, and even the attendees often need to also be tied in, and that's really where Zoom has most of their user base are logged in, right? And so that's why they're doing the whole team chat stuff as well, you know, where you can chat, and the continuous meetings or chats that can happen in meeting as well as inside Zoom chat. All of that sort of stuff we're not super interested in, because it's a huge advantage for us to not have anyone log into Zoom locally, not our hosts and not our attendees, particularly our attendees. We don't want them to be slowed down. I think it's still one of those advantages that we have over something like Zoom events, is that all the amount of logging in that you have to do, if you're not logged into the client, you log in through the web, and then there's lots of that messing around. Having said all that, I know that they were aware of it, and that they have guest mode is a thing that can work for particular Zoom apps. But my inclination on that is trying to do a bare bones version of a timer is OBS and stagetimer.io, right? Like, you can input that as another input in OBS virtual camera, and now, hey everyone, we're going to go to a 5-minute working session. Click the button, it changes the scene, away you go. I mean, you know that as well as anyone.
Or if you really want to go low tech, just share your screen,
right?
And don't use OBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I provided. There's a YouTube channel that actually has a bunch of pre-built nice video timers from 30 seconds all the way up through an hour. And so I just made a little playlist spreadsheet with all the different times, along with Big Timer, which is just a simple on-screen timer, but I don't love that it has kind of banner ads on it. And so I sent a couple of resources, but even OBS is probably a step above what she wants to be able to do, because for this one, she's teching her own show as well. And I had forgotten all about the fact that it's more than authorizing the app at the admin level. It has to be authenticated at the local level. I completely forgot about that part of it. So yeah, makes sense. Cool.
Yeah. We don't want to overcomplicate it either, right? With the extra windows popping up in Zoom and things as well. So I don't know. I've got some interest in Zoom apps, but we'll still wait and see. So, hey Jenny, got a black magic question already. You put that in nice and early. You're getting an error.
I was patiently waiting for the last question of the day. So you're throwing me off. I'm sitting here drinking my caffeine and I'm not ready. Yeah. So my friend Larry, that's gonna learning to run my back end for me, and he's learning Obvio. We keep getting an error message. Muddy sent me a link, and we pulled the same link off of the internet, and he's techie. I'm not, as you know, so he can't get it to pull up. So we keep getting this source file not found error message. I don't know. We've tried every way.
I know what this is, Jenny.
Okay, Muddy's onto it.
I know what this is. Yeah. So what you're trying to install is the ATEM software control, right? So I sent them the link to be able to install. You have to fully unzip the file. You can't just kind of go into the zipped folder and run the install. You have to fully unzip the file, and then you can install it. And if you still have the issue, because I've heard some reports about this with one of the latest builds, if you still have the issue, let me know and I'll send you the link to the previous version of the software. But the same thing, you'll need to fully unzip it before you install it. And Larry should know what that means, or how to do that.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, he will. Yeah, that's his job. I defer. Thank you,
Nice.
Maddie.
Yeah, that's good, Muddy. Good pickup. Cool. Sarah, hey there. Can't remember. Is there a limit to the number of events? And if I duplicate an event, I need to come up with a new event URL, correct? Yes. So is there a limit to events? No, there's not. So there's a limit to your organizations. So if you're on the pro account, then it's a limit of 3 organizations. But there's no limit of events. But yes, the events need to have a unique URL. And so you can change the event URL after your event if that's helpful. And so sometimes we've got some events where we've added archive to it because we want to use that same URL on a whole new event. So you can totally just put whatever you want on it to free up that URL again, and then you're able to use that. So yeah, you just need a unique name.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
That was easy. Yeah, and just a reminder for everyone about organizations as well is that lots of people do run or have lots of events in their one organization, and you just want to think about mostly around who has access to that organization, the team members. So as soon as you're inviting someone to your organization, they have access to all of those events within that organization. Okay. So we often think of organizations as team, like who do you want access to those specific events? And of course you can add and remove team members as you need to as well, and so that's a possibility too. But the organizations is a thing that it was very forward thinking of us to make sure that we had organizations planned out right from the start.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Sure. You're welcome. I think that might be all the questions that have come through off of the dashboard. There's a button on the dashboard to ask a question. But there's only a few of us here. You're welcome to raise your hand or type in the chat. I got an Uber this morning in another city. All right then. Hello, I'm back. That was weird. Am I back? Or am I just talking to myself? I am back. Thank you.
Hi, Grant.
Hello. I set up. I'm in a hotel room, and I caught an Uber this morning at 3:30 in the morning to catch a flight that boarded at 4:45 a.m., which is a bit nasty. So in Queensland, in Australia, they don't observe daylight saving at all. So it's pretty wacky that a whole state can just go, no, we're not going to do that. So then they're another hour out, and so when we have daylight saving, Australia gets really wacky times. Anyway, all of that to say, very happy to answer your questions. But if the questions slow down, it could be that I start nodding off.
We have a state or two that does that. Indiana used to refuse to participate. I don't know if they do now or not. It's crazy.
Parts of Arizona also don't.
Interesting. I want us to go universal time, like just everyone use it. Like it means nothing. The actual time doesn't mean anything. So the time is the same all around the world, and you just know that your day starts at 3 a.m. and goes to whatever. Like, I think it'd be great. How awesome would it be for anyone you were talking to in the world? Let's meet online at 2 a.m. I might be alone in that thinking.
Time zones in the United States started because of the train schedules.
Yeah, right. That's
So
interesting.
I don't know how all that other stuff would work.
Yeah, Greenwich Mean Time. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, just to bring this back to Obvio, we in the agenda, when you put a time in the agenda, it gets automatically converted to the time zone of the browser that the people are viewing it in. So we've overcome that challenge, at least for attendees, and we also added the event time, which is particularly handy when you're working across multiple time zones, which I often do with my team. We're in different time zones, and so we consider what is the event time zone. What we're saying, it's everything's based on that. So then when we're entering times in, we know that it's all based on that particular time zone. So that's helpful. Jenny, you raised your hand.
Just real quick, can you pop the link in the chat? Larry's going to try and jump in, and so that he can join the call.
Oh yeah.
I just want to make sure. I sent him a link, but he's having trouble getting in. Thank you.
It's just the sign up. So it's update.ovv, update.ovv.io. Let's sign up. Let me post it. That should work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Muddy.
You're talking about times and events, and I know the agenda time updates, which is awesome. My question is, all of the other time fields, and specifically what I'm thinking about are broadcasts, when you set a broadcast to go out, and the post, the blog post dates, right, which you use to kind of keep things in chronological order. All those times are event time that is set in the event settings.
Did you say correct at the end there?
Yeah.
I was just asking if that's correct. Yep.
It is, unless you don't have a time zone set. So just keep in mind that you have to have the time zone actually set on the settings page in order for that to apply. And if you don't have, because that's an optional field, which maybe we should change, but because that's an optional field, if you do not have the time zone, the event time zone set, then the time zone that you're working in when you're setting up broadcasts is your computer's time zone. So it's either the event time zone or your computer's time zone, depending on the event settings.
Great.
it's a good tip, particularly for someone like Muddy who's been around for a while and was around, probably has events that were there before we added
settings.
Yeah, before we added time zone. Yeah, so you probably have experienced that, Muddy. So it's worth double checking on all your events. Make sure you got a time zone set.
Especially if you're duplicating a really old event. Oftentimes the time zone won't be set at that point. And if you just click save with, you change the slug and you click save and that's it. You got to remember to actually set the time zone because it doesn't set it automatically. And like I said, it's optional.
Is your hand still raised, Jenny, or did you raise it again? Or you just you're reserving the right?
Reserving the right to ask questions.
That's right. Yeah.
Awesome.
At any point. Hey, Guy.
How are you today?
I'm doing all right.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I want to ask how I add additional tags. So if I go to services, I use HubSpot. And if I go to services, I have Obvio created, Obvio checked in, Obvio waiver already in HubSpot, in Obvio. But I want to also be able to add my points to my HubSpot dashboard to be able to keep, so participants, I can email them the points and see where they are in the leaderboard. I also, I want to know if they attended the welcome celebration, right? And if they watched the event when they checked out, to be able to send them communication, SMS and communication, like if they check out, and just to make sure if they watch the high ticket offer, then to be able to send them a different type of message from those who I don't know whether they watch the high ticket offer or not. If that makes sense.
Yes, there's like 17 questions in there, but it does make
Yes.
So first off, I'm going to talk. Let's talk about. I'm going to cover a couple of the easy ones. The ability to update an attendee's point total in another platform through a service integration doesn't exist currently. So you would have to do that manually if you wanted to. And on top of that, there's no easy, we call it a sync with service integration, but it's very much a one-way sync. Like we're pulling information from HubSpot. We're not really, like if you go in and update an attendee in Obvio, that update doesn't go back into HubSpot. It's only a one-way pull. Now there are a couple of actions that can apply a contact property inside of HubSpot, like button clicks, like, check in, waiver signed, attendee created, form submissions, things like that. But in terms of an actual, you can't make an update in Obvio and have it to your attendees and have it appear in HubSpot. And we have a very specific reason for doing it that way. And I'm happy to explain it, but that's universal. That's not just HubSpot. That's with all of our service integrations. And the short answer as to why is because our clients who use service integrations, their CRM is their master, right? If they're going to make a change, they want to have it apply everywhere in their CRM. But we also have some clients who are like, you know what? And this happened early on, and it still happens. They have somebody who's named Jonathan in their CRM because of the fact that that's how their billing takes place. But inside of Obvio, they want to rename them to John, right? So that when they show up inside of Zoom, they show up as John rather than Jonathan. So you can make that change inside of Obvio and not have it affect HubSpot or any of the other CRMs. So that's the reason why you can't, it's not a bi-directional sync. Okay. That's number one. Number two, HubSpot's an interesting one because HubSpot technically doesn't have tags, right? Like HubSpot uses something called contact properties in order to do kind of the same thing as tagging, but contact properties are really more akin to custom fields than they are tags. So what we do with clients who want to have kind of tag-like functionality is we create a contact property inside of HubSpot called event tags or event Obvio tags, right? So TVE 7 Obvio tags. And we set that up as a multiple choice checkbox property. And then inside of that contact property, we create all of the different tags as checkbox options that we want. So we'd be like VIP, general admission, checked in, waiver signed, attendee created, attended welcome celebration, whatever we want to apply as tags inside of HubSpot, we do that. And then on the service integration page, there is an option to import a contact property as tags. So we then import that contact property as tags inside of Obvio. So it's a little bit complicated, but because it's a workaround because HubSpot doesn't support tagging. So what you then do is, what's nice about that is you keep all of your data, all of your information for your event in one custom field or custom contact property, rather than having 42 contact properties that all identify with that event, right? And, so if you're looking for somebody who's a VIP who's checked in, you would look in HubSpot for the contact property event Obvio tags who has the checkbox VIP and also has the checkbox checked in. So that's how you bring tags over from HubSpot. And then inside of Obvio, you can apply specific checkboxes for, on certain actions, right? So if you want to have on button click for welcome celebration, you can apply the contact property Obvio tags and then select the option welcome celebration. So then in HubSpot, when somebody clicks on the button, they wind up having the checkbox for welcome celebration attended applied inside of that one contact property. So this is, this conversation, like, this sounds super complicated. And that's how it feels when I say it out loud. But it really is a workaround. It's not necessarily how HubSpot is intended to be used, but it works. It's how we actually set up pretty much any one of our large clients that is using HubSpot. We do that exact same thing rather than creating an individual contact property for every single thing, which you can also do. That's the other way to do it.
Thank you, Blue. So I already have what you said completely built out. Can I share my screen 1 second? Because I think the thing that I'm asking is really easy. I just don't know how to do it.
Which thing?
Oh, can I share my screen? I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Which screen am I on?
Your audio is really blowing out as well. You're coming in really hot.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll turn my mixer down. Can you see my screen?
I can. Yeah.
Okay. So this is HubSpot here with the contact property we're talking about, and these are the.
Hold on. I'm seeing I see the Obvio dashboard, and you're asking a question.
I apologize. I'm on the wrong screen. Give me a second. I apologize. Here we go.
It was lucky that what we saw was Obvio and not some other screen that you may have had open.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so the left is HubSpot, the right is Obvio, obviously. So this is the contact property here, and this is the build of what you were talking about.
Yep.
So I know how to do this part where you do the created, what you already have here, checked in, waiver. I don't know how, so you say points is not available, so I'll cut points off. But the welcome celebration, or if they left the event, how do I add these components here? I don't know how to do this part.
Well, the good news is it's because it's not here. So first off, another thing that I would probably do if I was going to use this is I would take that attendee tags property and I would select, make sure that you add the honor and God profit access as the contact property that is going to get imported. So do that and then click save. And go up all the way to the top of this page. Okay, good. You have sync on. All right. So now let's go to your dashboard. The designer.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
And let's scroll down to the button that's for your welcome celebration as an example.
Okay.
Okay, go into the gear and scroll all the way down on the settings page. You already have it done. So the way you set this up is essentially what happens is if somebody clicks on that button, they will get the checkbox welcome celebration inside that contact property. So you actually have already done it.
Okay. All right. Because I've been playing back and forth. Okay. So this is already done. So all I do is just turn that one area on and then it's straight. Any of the properties that I have there that work. Okay. And then so all I have to do is just
and
turn
if there's any other
if
there are any other properties that you want to import that aren't covered by like that honor and God profit access checkbox property, you just click add group and you can add additional contact properties. You know, the value of additional contact properties from HubSpot into Obvio. That's a one-way in, not a way out.
Say that one more time.
If you wanted to add additional contact properties from HubSpot into your contact records in Obvio, you would use add group to import like city or state as an example. So you just use it as an example, type in city there.
Yep. I'm sorry for
and
my
then
fat
on the
fingers.
right, and then on the right hand side, the property to import, type in city.
Yep.
Assuming, because I'm just assuming you have a city.
Yep.
No, not the city. City.
Oh. Okay.
There you go. And then now what that will do is that will import the city custom property from HubSpot into Obvio. You probably don't need to do that, to be honest with you, but that's how you do it if you wanted to import additional information from HubSpot into Obvio.
Got it. Okay. And then the phone number. I know you have a new integration in Obvio with the SMS. Is that what this is for right here?
It is. Yep. So the phone number contact property to import is so that if you have SMS turned on your account, you can send SMS messages to anybody who has a phone number inside of HubSpot.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. All right. Let me stop
too,
screen sharing. Okay. I need to find where I am.
Cool. Any other questions come in while I was blathering on about HubSpot?
If no one else does, I have one question about this event today. I don't know if that, can I ask you that, Blue? Or
Yeah,
Grant?
go for it.
Okay. So I was trying to clear the room assignments for the attendees today, so they would get into different rooms today.
Yep.
But I must have either clicked the wrong button or I did something wrong and it deleted them all. So I re-imported them, but they haven't. Well, I mean, I don't care if they have to set their password again. That'll be easy. But like, and I'm just wondering for the blocks of attendees, if it's the same email address, will I need to add those again, or is there something we can do in the back end to make
No,
sure?
you shouldn't need to worry about it. So it sounds like, did you clear your attendee list? You deleted them from the attendee?
I thought I was clicking clear room assignment, but they all disappeared. So I did.
Wow,
I either clicked the wrong thing or I must have clicked the wrong thing.
Those are in two so completely different places.
I know.
Like they're not even on the same page.
I know.
Okay.
But that's what happened. So I must have. I have
All right.
3 tabs open. I must have thought I was on the
question
Zoom areas tab.
Yeah. So the question that you're asking is, will you get dinged for, or will the blocks of attendees work? And it will. You won't have any issues, because
Okay.
essentially the basically what happens when you add additional blocks to your event is it increases the attendee capacity for that event. One of the
Okay.
ways to, but it's the current, right? So if you clear your attendees and re-import, it doesn't, like if you had 7,000 in before and then you re-import after you clear your attendee list, it doesn't count it as 14,000. It only counts it as 7.
Okay. All
So
right.
you should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's only a few new people. So the credits will only start taking anyone that's new that hasn't been in.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure
and I
when
will
we
say
opened the
anybody who
event,
showed
like
up,
it didn't start over again.
no, because it's not really a credit system anymore. It's an attendee
Right.
capacity system.
Okay.
So, or an event capacity system. So essentially the event now has the capacity of 7,000 attendees, as an example. And it
Okay.
doesn't
So it's not
matter.
linked to an individual attendee.
No,
Okay.
it's
Perfect.
just the total number of attendees. So the reality is, if you were to delete your attendee list and re-import it again tomorrow, and you had 7,000 different people show up, it would still only count it as 7,000 people.
Okay. That makes sense. Thanks.
Yep, you bet.
Yeah, so Christine, let's see. Yeah, Christine put a question in on this dashboard, as in ours. There are workshop recordings. Each one has a graphic and description. Can I ask what the process is I would follow to set this up? Just trying to think if we did that on the updates.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the question is either. I mean, I know we use, so most of those videos were edited, right? So it was a live recording, and then we added some, they were trimmed.
No.
What is she talking about? Is she talking about the actual Searchy Hub page? Like when you go on it and you
It must be. I was reading it as the buttons. The buttons. Christine, are you with us still?
Yeah. And that's what I'm asking is that
Okay,
when you go
ahead.
When you go in there, it shows a graphic and then the description. I understand that you took the video and you edited it in Wistia or Vimeo or whatever you did. But then what is the process that you did to take it from that and get it into a graphic and a description on the dashboard? Because I'm trying to do the very similar thing where we have training recordings, but I'm just not sure what's the process of getting them onto my dashboard.
Totally. We're not using the dashboard. So when you click on that link for the workshop recordings, you're actually going off Obvio and onto what's called a Searchy Hub. So we're using the platform Searchy to host the videos. It's searchy.io. And we upload the videos to that platform. And then inside of Searchy, there's a feature called Hubs. And Hubs are essentially a way to display videos the way they're displayed on that page. It's actually also the same platform that we use for the Leap Members Hub, the member portal. So it can be pretty simple, like the one that we have for the workshop recordings, or it can get fairly complex, like the one that we have for Leap. So it's a separate platform altogether. It's not actually Obvio. It just looks like it may be because you click on the link and that then takes you to another page, and that page has been branded to look like Obvio's stuff, right? So we're trying to keep consistency between. So even though you don't really know that, you may not realize it, but you're no longer on the dashboard when you click on that link.
That makes more sense.
Cool.
I guess just an extension of that question is that, of course, you can embed videos on the dashboard if you only had one or two, or and then you can do that in a blog entry. They're called the blog, add a blog, and then you can embed video, so you can get an embed code and add HTML and copy that in. That's not too hard to do, and then you can put a description and things in there as well. Or if it's a YouTube video or a Vimeo or Wistia, you can just put the link in as a video insert media, and that will automatically add the video as a blog post onto the dashboard. So, but yeah, it's a different thing. The hub is a very different thing. But if it was just one or two videos, then you could embed that straight on the.
They're ongoing because they're training. So there's about 8 trainings leading up, and then we're probably going to have another training done once a week for all consultants across Canada.
I'd be checking out Searchy.
Yeah, we're huge fans of Searchy. Searchy also has a native Obvio integration that allows you to import recordings from Obvio directly into Searchy, which is kind of nice. But the other thing that Searchy really allows for, which you may find helpful, and I know we do when we use one of those Searchy hubs, is the search capabilities. The ability to actually find content when you have hours and hours and hours and hours of recordings becomes a lot easier, because Searchy allows you to essentially search the text or the transcript of the videos, and then the results are clickable to the point in the video where the thing that you found was said. So I actually think it's a really, really, really powerful tool, and they have a bunch of really cool features. Not to just have a Searchy ad. I should probably have an affiliate link, but I don't. Yeah, so that's
this what it looks like?
Well, this is an example of what he just shared. What Grant just shared was he just searched for his name, and so anywhere that you see that we've said Grant, it shows up. And if you wanted to look at where I said Grant in call 6, you would just click on that, and that would that would take you to that point in the video. And what's also cool is, of course, it continues to search the transcript for you because it knows that that's what you were searching for. So it's a really powerful, none of that was that entire page, that entire Searchy hub took, I don't know, it no more than 20 minutes to set up, not including the upload time of uploading the videos. But it really, the nice thing, there's not a lot of flexibility. You can't, change it so that the search bar is on the right-hand side instead of on the top. They have, kind of like Obvio, Searchy hubs are template-based, and you can customize the templates, but they still have a certain amount of structure to them that you can't change.
Does that also provide a transcript?
It does. Yep. You can provide the option to have that transcript be downloadable if you wanted to, or
that
not.
would be super helpful for my vision impaired consultants. So
yeah, it's a really, really powerful tool. I'd recommend you check it out. It's Searchy is owned and operated by Stu McLaren and his team, and they're putting a lot of effort into that platform, and I think you'll see some really cool things in the coming year as it relates to membership experiences. They're working on community items, and they're also working on platform editing, meaning you can make minor edits to videos inside of the platform itself. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming down the pike in Searchy. It's a pretty neat platform for what it does.
Thanks for that.
Yep.
Hey, Larry, being very patient.
Good morning, everyone. Hi.
Yeah.
I work with Jenny, and I don't know if it's off topic. I was telling her, but was the one that was asking about how to get that ATEM software control loaded up, and the unzipping that worked fine. If you would just give me a little bit of a heads up. I mean, can I operate this ATEM software control from my machine here, logged into her machine in Indiana, and that's not how it works, right? Can't remotely operate the ATEM, right?
No.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. So yeah, we use a remote, team viewer for now, and so yeah, I'll carry on with that.
That's the best. Yeah. You could do some complex VPN things and all sorts, but just doing a screen share is a great way to do it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah. All right. I'll get her set up and get it going. Thanks.
Awesome. That's great.
I've tried so many times to get control over an ATEM remotely. I never get it working right, ever. I have to try harder.
Okay. So you have tried that. Yeah. Yeah.
I have. Yeah. I've tried. Because we use them. I mean, we don't use that specific one, but they all essentially have the same tech in them. It doesn't matter whether you're using the small one or the big ones. And they're a pain in the butt to get that working right and get it working consistently. Right. To Grant's point, the screen share will be more stable. Even if you do get it working remotely, the screen share will be more stable.
Right. Understand,
just requires an expert computer sitting there and on site.
Okay.
I've done Companion's easier than anything. You can do that.
And the reading I was is this the ATEM that I got, which I guess obviously was not the one I was supposed to get. It doesn't do screen share. Split screen.
You managed to make a statement and a question in one sentence there, Jenny.
See there, Larry? That's my morning make fun of Jenny time.
Exactly. Yeah. You managed to put.
I'm gonna make myself now and go get another cup of caffeine. Go away.
You managed to do an exclamation and a question mark at the end of your sentence. So, are you believe that is that share in the sense that different? It's not. You can have a computer as an input into the ATEM, and now you can cut to it as if it's a camera, right? And so, even picture in picture and all sorts. So you can do it. It's just not. It's not the same as taking the computer that you're on and then saying, I want to share this screen and have that go into the ATEM. You're doing it more in a hardware way rather than a software. So you're taking HDMI out of a computer into the ATEM in the same way that you're plugging a camera into the ATEM. And now that comes up as an input. One of the 4 inputs can be a computer. Now, anything
and on that
that you
computer,
put on...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
On that computer,
No,
I can run
ahead.
some software, I believe, right? And then I can remote into her machine, and while she's doing her video and her instructing and stuff like that, I can be on the side kind of manipulating the camera switch. It's a switch is all it is. We're switching amongst hardware devices, basically.
Yeah.
I kind of got the understanding of it, so we'll get through it.
And there is so many videos on YouTube about what people do with ATEMs. It's becoming a real sort of de facto, switcher for people that are used for all sorts of gaming, sorts of shows and even craft shows. The smart people are doing.
Really?
No,
it's too early.
Oh, Jenny, that was.
That's what we're using it for. It's
exactly. That's what I was saying. I wasn't teasing you. I'm your biggest fan, Jenny. I think you're going to smash it. We're going to look back on these days. we're going to look back on these days and you're going to be like, gee, do you remember those days when I was asking all those simple questions? And now I'm a pro. I'm teaching other people how to do this. That's what's going to happen. Muddy's going to be coming to you and asking questions.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Muddy, what have you got?
Would it just be easier for me to just buy him an ATEM?
Muddy?
What?
What? As in to try to do something remotely?
Yeah. Does he need one to be able to do it remotely? No? Okay.
No.
All right.
No,
I'm going to
because
go.
I don't think I
No,
could
no,
run
no.
her cameras
No.
from Texas. You know, I don't her cameras and audio and video from Texas. So I think
Right.
I understand the process. She'll have all the hardware in
Yeah.
her studio. I'll remote in to her machine, and I'll with this software. That way she won't even have to touch the ATEM, and I'll remote in and run the software, and we'll coordinate the video and the
100%.
presentation.
Yep.
Basically, I'll be in the background doing presentation work, switching and stuff like that as we work through creating videos for her presentations. That's my understanding of how it works.
You're exactly right, and that's a really good way of doing this. This is great, Jenny. The best thing you've bought is Larry. Because having someone else worry about some of that stuff is awesome. So yes, because you're doing some things remotely, then yes, you've got to set up some hardware, but you can take the time to get that going, Jenny, get Larry the access, and then you can just concentrate on content, building your community, and not be worried about which camera to switch to next or whatever. So that's really smart.
Well, that's
the
what
game
best
plan.
friends are for.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I've got to get off to work, you all. Thanks for letting me join you. And
Hey, Larry.
That's great.
Hang on just a minute.
Hang on, Muddy's got some wisdom.
One more thing to add to the mix is that what you need, what you're controlling, or it doesn't have to be you can control ATEM software from any computer connected on the local network if the ATEM is connected with an Ethernet. So if Jenny has an old laptop or a different computer, you can install ATEM software control on that one and remote into that. So you don't, if you're concerned about kind of controlling the computer that she's looking at live.
Okay.
And that was the thing that Blue was talking about. You know, when I have a remote studio that I'm working on, I'll install that I'm going to do repeat shows on. I'll install a separate Mac Mini in that studio that I can remote into and operate the camera switcher from that.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't have to be a Mac, but as long as it's on the local network, so that may be useful.
Right. Looks like all I need is a IP address on the LAN, and I'm in. It looks like when I can remote into it, and I'm good to go. Yeah. All right. Thanks, buddy. All right, y'all. I got to get going. So thanks for everything.
Great.
Talk to you later.
Good to meet you, Larry. See you.
Good to meet you all. Yes. Wish I knew how to get out of here. Okay, leave.
Where's the door to get out of here? All right. Let's see.
Well, he's my best friend, so he's doing this for me as a favor.
If he keeps this up, he'll be my best friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no more questions there.
I think Dan said he had to drop off, but he didn't mention it. I'm on my way to Dan's studio right now to help him upgrade his studio. So that's why
cool.
I'm on the road.
Wow. That's really cool. All right. Any other questions? It's just ticked over midnight here. It is good collaboration. What are you cooking, Blue? Are you cooking something? Not cooking.
Just cleaning up.
Just
Cleaning up this morning.
Everyone, it's your first bet. This is going to soon. Don't come up with a question. I'm not sure how many warnings I'll give. I was just saying this is the first one.
Well, I have something. I just want to say to you guys, when you all were gone last week, I felt like my family had left. It was horrible not having my LEAP family last week. It was not a fun week, Blue. So just so you guys know that.
You should have joined us in Charleston, Jenny.
I wanted to very badly. So yeah, it's I was not happy about not being able to. What was that?
Not badly enough.
Well, it's called rent.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, it was a fun week though. I mean, it was a really fun week. We had a good time. I mean, I had a good time. I don't know if anybody else did. I definitely had a good time.
When you do it again, I will be there. When you do it again,
awesome.
I will be there. Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
But you all were missed.
So wait, Jenny. Grant and I were here last week.
Yeah, that's right.
It was like the Amy and Grant show.
What?
I didn't see the Obvio call. I must have missed that because I was in LEAP withdrawal.
We never miss. We never miss a week. We've got a good track record now.
It was a good show too. I watched the replay on the drive down to Charleston.
Nice. That's great. Very good.
All right. Well, y'all are awesome, but I'm going to duck out if this is the pace of questions.
I think I know exactly. I think it's grinding to a halt.
Exactly. Thanks for being here. I know these calls are early. Hey, Grant, I've been contemplating these morning calls. I'm just curious. I'm going to probably the next few that we do, I'm going to poll the audience. I've been thinking about eliminating the morning calls and just doing the afternoon calls because the morning calls are so lightly attended. I know we did the morning calls initially for people like Nathan, but he just sits here and he's on the phone the entire time, not paying attention to us. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate that he doesn't even get to hear me giving him a little bit of a jab. But yeah, we did it mostly for Europeans, right? That was the main reason for the 8 a.m.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So would anybody here have any objection? Would be like, no, that'd be awful. I really love the 8 a.m. calls. Is anybody in that boat? Anybody loves the 8 a.m. calls?
I love it, Dan. Yes. Whew.
Aside from this morning, no. This morning was good timing for me, but
well, that
I haven't been here in months, so that shows.
That either shows that you've gotten comfortable with it, or you just haven't done any virtual events in 8 months.
We've had events, so
yeah. No, I actually we get to see whenever I see when anybody is using the platform, so I'm just giving you a bug. All right, so
I think that's a good idea. I think it is a good idea, and I think what we could do as well as what we've talked about sometimes is just doing some workshops at some different times or some labs, where we can just say we're going to meet at this time and we're going to work through building out a dashboard or something like that. We could do that at a different time for some people too. Not just take questions, but actually just step through some things and do those at a variety of times. So
cool. Well, there it is.
There you go.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Grant, good to see you. Thanks for being here. We'll see you
too. Bye, everyone.